So now that we've had a look at the user interface, what we're going to do is talk about just working with files briefly. And there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. Quickest and simplest of which is going to be up here from our quick toolbar, our quick select toolbar. Okay, so I could say I want a new drawing, in which case I just click new and I get to pick from a template. So that automatically brings up my AutoCAD templates. Now these are installed already in AutoCAD. You can make your own, obviously, but in this instance we could pick from any one of. Let's have a look here. We've got metric and we've got imperial. So do bear in mind if you're working in metric or imperial that you get the right one. We've got an AutoCAD ISO, so that's an AutoCAD International Standard Order drawing file. Okay, so it's a bog standard, it's going to be metric, for those of you who aren't so keen on that. We could just have a plain AutoCAD file which isn't ISO standard. We've got an ISO 3D starting point and a standard AutoCAD starting point. We've also got things where we can work with civil engineering in metric, architectural in metric. We've got electrical and mechanical settings here. So really, if you want a template, really it's just this drawing template. It's not the interface template. Okay. So when we say, you know, like an architectural metric, it's going to be already preset with the units in millimeters, for example. Okay. So I don't need to actually open another one because I've got a template here. So I'll cancel that off. I've also got the option to open a file, which you can see here we were in the samples folder, and I could have opened any one of these, and I can click through, and what you'll notice is when you go to open, we've got a very standard sort of Windows browser menu here. There's nothing that should be surprising you at this point, but what is nice is obviously when you click on any one of your DWG files, what we're getting to see here is a little preview in the right hand corner. So that's really good. I can come up a level. I can say, well, let's look at the mechanical samples, example of multi-leaders, data links. There's all sorts of things in here that you can use as your samples just to begin with, or if you're working from the exercise files, you can just browse to where the exercise files are and open them as well. I'll cancel that. When you're ready, you can obviously save your file, and again that will bring up the same window browser. I can go to whichever section I want to and I can give that a name that I want. And do bear in mind when you're saving files that you've got these options here. Okay, so 2010, the file format has changed. 2007, 2008 and 2009 will all be using this AutoCAD 2007 DWG file format. Prior to that, 2004, 5 and 6, which as I understand it are now retired products, right? They will use their own file format there, the DWG, and then for 2001 and 2 and 3 you've also got the file format here, and then you've got a legacy AutoCAD R14 right the way through to 2000 there. We do have drawing standards. We can save, you remember I mentioned you could make your own template. Well, there you go, you've got your drawing template that you could save as, and we've also got DXF versions if you were creating 3D files. That's more for a 3D file than it is for a 2D file. You want your DWGs if you're working just in 2D. So do remember that if you're going to be passing this around a drawing office or you're going to be passing it to a client, maybe they don't have the 2010 version. Check and make sure, and then save your drawing in whichever is the appropriate version before you pass it on to your client. And really we can go back what is effectively 10 years here between that 2010 and 2000, so really there shouldn't be any excuse for people not being able to open your files. I can cancel that off as well, and obviously the other way that I've got for working with files, for saving them and opening them, is through my menu browser up here. So again, if I click on that little menu browser there, I can create a new file, a new drawing, or a new set of sheet sets. I can open a file, and I've got options here to open drawings, sheet sets, or DGN files. I can save as, and I can also export as well. So I can export my drawing as a DWF or as a PDF, which is something that I quite often get if I'm working with architectural files and I'm doing visualizations. I will quite often just get a PDF file. But it does mean as well for a lot of people, when you're exporting your files and you're sending them to outside contractors, that it means the outside contractor can't change the drawing. You are sending them in effect a digital piece of paper that they can then go and print out, but they can't make a change to the drawing. Okay, so a lot of people find that very, very useful in being able to keep control of the drawings, certainly if you don't know where your files will be going out to. Yeah, if it's internally, that's fine, send whoever it is the drawing file. If it's not, if it's going to be going outside the building, maybe you want to think about that PDF as an option. So that's all we need to know about working with files for the moment. We're going to move on briefly and we're going to talk about displaying objects next.